If you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s and thinking ahead, or you're just nearing retirement, here's a reality check. Most people spend more time planning their next vacation than they do planning the retirement era of their life. So, this lesson is more than just about money. It's about asking the questions that shape your future. So, you don't just retire, but instead retire on purpose. If it's your first time here, I'm Dr. Amanda. Welcome to the Retirement Income School. This is your place for financial education on how to protect your wealth and create guaranteed income so that you can retire financially relaxed. For this lesson, I've got 8 questions for you that are somewhat aspirational. They're based on you planning and envisioning your future and really considering what retirement looks like to you. And these are inspired by getting to talk to a lot of different types of people over the last several weeks who are coming to me to plan for retirement. And there is such a wide variety of people and the ways that we think about what we want in our future. One thing that I found really interesting is that as an entrepreneur, many entrepreneurs don't want to retire because they've built a business around their values, around their interests, and so they say, I don't ever want to retire. So when you're thinking that way, then the word retirement might not make the same sense to you. So you've got to consider, what does retirement look like to me? And for me, realistically, I feel like I would get very bored in retirement. And if I were not working and making a difference in the world, I would start to lose interest in my life, which I don't want. So I imagine myself working for a long time, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to make quote unquote retirement plans. What retirement means to me, and something I want you to consider, is choice. You want choice in your retirement years. And in order to have choice, you've got to do a little bit of vision work and planning and consideration around, what does retirement look like to me? So you might want to get out a pen and a paper, write these questions down, and talk to your family, your partner. Think about it for yourself. What does retirement look like to you? So let's start with these 8 questions. You can dig in for yourself and reflect on what your retirement years will look like. And this is for you whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, or beyond. Obviously, the timeline is going to be a little bit different if you have a longer stretch, but these are great questions for anyone to be asking at any age. Question number 1, what does retirement look like to you? And this is critical because everybody has different lifestyles. Everyone has different family configurations. People have different hobbies, goals, desires. Some people just want to sit around their house and garden and read. Other people want to travel the world. Some people want to make sure that they have a huge inheritance for their family. There is no one right way to retire. It's up to you. So what does retirement look like to you? Number 2, and this is a really fun one. If money were no object, how would you live? Now, this question is really going to help you loosen the reins around your thinking in terms of money-based considerations. Obviously, if you have a very small pool to work from, you're going to think differently than if you have unlimited funds. So this is one of those coaching magic wand questions where you think, okay, if money were no object and I had any amount, what would I do with my time? And time is a precious commodity. So we really want to consider, hey, if I weren't working and I were free to do whatever I wanted, what would I be doing with my time if I didn't have to consider money? Now, of course, if you're 30 years old, you have a much longer runway to be able to plan the income that's going to match these desires. If you're older and you're moving into retirement and you already have that set, well, how are you going to have the income that you've saved create this lifestyle that you desire so you get to have fun in those golden years? So if money were no object, how would you live? And really play with this one. I like to think about this one as your perfect day. So if you could design a day any way you choose, or a week or a month even in retirement, what would that look like? And get really vision based here. You want to be able to, as you're thinking about this, see it and feel it and act as if it's happening, because this is what is most inspiring to you. Sometimes I like to think about this one as if you were on your deathbed looking back at your life. What would you have wanted to experience? What would you have wanted to create? What would have you ending your life fulfilled and feeling like, yes, I fulfilled my purpose. I did what I wanted to do, and I really enjoyed my time here on this earth. Question number 3, when do you want to retire and when can you? So this ties back to what I was talking about in the beginning. Some people never want to retire. They want to work for the rest of their lives and they don't want to think about, well, I'm going to stop working at some age and go do something else. Other people can't wait to retire. And I get a wide mix of people coming to me. Some people say, I want to retire yesterday. And other people say, I'll retire when I'm dead. And it very much depends on what you're doing for work, how much you enjoy it, how much free time you've gotten to have. And this is a unique answer for each person. So really consider this for you. When do you want to retire and are you capable of retiring? Have you created that income floor so that you have your baseline met so that you can enjoy your retirement? And that's why these questions are important, because the longer timeline that you have to plan for this, the more that you can set yourself up with the right income match to meet those needs and desires of when you want to retire. I've been having many couples come to me lately who want to retire in their early 50s. And there's that whole FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. So, are you one of those people? You want to retire younger than the typical retirement age? Are you someone who wants to work part time for the rest of your life? Are you someone who wants to quit your current job and then build a business that you've always dreamed of building? Are you someone who has financial freedom already and you want to make sure that you're building up an inheritance for your children? And so, when do you want to retire and when can you? These are important questions because you want to make sure that you've set yourself up income wise to match your desires. And that's why it's important to consider these things today, right now, because you want to be planning for the future. You want to say, hey, I want to retire at 60 years old, and then reverse engineer a plan by yourself or with someone like me and think, how can I set myself up financially to do that? Are there ways that I can create more of that income floor, make sure that I have my monthly needs met, and make sure that your dream can become a reality because you have that gap met? And when you're building your income floor with things like Social Security, maybe a pension, annuities, whole life insurance, sometimes MIGAs or a bond ladder or CDs. There are various ways to fill that income floor so that you can make your dream a reality. Then you need to invest in other ways so that you have additional incomes. So that's what you're considering in this question. Question number 4 is another way of looking at your why. What are you retiring to, not just from? So again, here you're thinking about lifestyle. You're thinking, I don't want to have any regrets on my deathbed. I want to fulfill my vision, my purpose, my mission in this life, and I want to make sure that I know what that is. It's impossible to get where you want to go if you don't know where you are. So what's the gap between where you are and where you want to go? That's your why. That's your mission. That's your vision. Why do you care about retiring a specific way? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? How do you want to feel in those years when you're financially free and set to do whatever it is that you want to do? And what is it that you want to do? What's your why? And this is a great one to define early. And if you're in the older years, you're already moving into retirement, that's okay. Just set it today and get purposeful. I've talked to several people in the last few weeks who have health issues, and their quality of life is not what they thought it was going to be in their retirement years. And so they're coming to me to say, how can I get as much money as possible out of the money that I've saved so that I can start to enjoy my life while I still have some quality of life? That's critical. Now, if you're in your 30s and you're asking yourself that question, it seems like retirement is so far off. But I'll say, as I've aged, I'm getting closer to 50 than I am to 30. I really sit with that question a lot, and I think, what do I want to experience now? What do I want to experience in my 50s and my 60s when I still have a ton of energy and I have incredible health and I still want to travel around and do all the fun stuff? How long will that last? I'm not sure. Well, I really want to front load my income when I have health and free time and create that so that I can play and enjoy my life in what you've heard me say, those go-go years. So remember, it's go-go, slow-go, and no-go in those retirement phases. Right when you're moving into the retirement years, it's go-go. Every day is like a weekend. It's like a vacation. And so you want to have a lot of flexible income so that you can go play and do whatever you want. As you move into those slow go years, you might be slowing down a little bit and not doing as much. So you actually might not need as much income in those years. And then during the no go, then you're really thinking about, how do I make sure that I have my health care taken care of and my long-term needs covered so that that doesn't eat away at my assets if I was planning to pass on money to my heirs. And so when you're asking these questions, what am I retiring to, not just from? These are lifestyle questions. These are why-based questions. Number 5, how long does your money need to last? This is really a longevity question, which is critical because we know that we're living longer and longer. And statistically speaking, if you're partnered, couples tend to live longer than people who are single. So consider your unique situation. There's a really useful quiz that you can take here. It's called Living to 100. So just type in living to 100, the number 100.com, livingto100.com. It asks you some questions about your lifestyle, your habits, your family medical history, your medical history, and it gives you an estimated guess about how long you will live. Now, obviously, this isn't a crystal ball. It's not certain, yet it gives you some good indication based on a lot of statistics and actuarial numbers that they put into this quiz. And so try that out and see what it says. When I did mine, it said I'm going to live to 100. I thought, whoa, all right. Well, how long does my money need to last? Until 100. So for me, annuities make a lot of sense because I can fund my annuity and then it'll pay me for the rest of my life, no matter how long I live. If it said I was going to live until 60, I might make different choices. And so you really want to be thinking about longevity and how long your money needs to last. This is going to affect the way you think about your Social Security claiming strategy, how much money you want to have in buffer assets, in things like annuities and whole life insurance. You want to be thinking, okay, if my money needs to last a long timeline, then what kind of financial products do I need to make sure that my portfolio is going to outlast me so that I'm not 95 and don't have money left? No one wants that. So, of course, here, guaranteed lifetime income is going to be critical, especially if you have a super long lifespan, or if you're thinking that you want to retire young and your money needs to last. Let's say you want to retire at 50, your money needs to last until maybe 100. That's 50 years. You got to make sure that you have a portfolio that can sustain that, because you don't want to be subject to that longevity risk where your portfolio is depleted and you don't have money left at the end of your life, or you have to burden your family to take care of you. And then another consideration here is when we think, how long do I want my money to last? Do we want it to last intergenerationally? And then that's another level of planning. Question number 6, what keeps you up at night? Is it market crashes, long-term care, inflation? Let's name what keeps you up at night so we can strategize solutions for you to not have to have those stressful, sleepless nights. Instead, you want guaranteed lifetime income so that you can retire financially relaxed. And if you don't name what keeps you up at night, it's impossible to come up with a solution. This is probably my greatest strength in working with you, is that I love to strategize solutions for you. It's actually part of my genius typing, is to come up with solutions and discern the right fit for you. And I love to apply this to financial products that are helping you with guaranteed lifetime income. In big part, this is because I had a very stressful financial past. I was on food stamps, raising my 3 kids through grad school, and there were many, many sleepless nights for me until I learned that building wealth was a skill that could be learned. I learned everything I could, and I completely changed my financial destiny. Now I don't have sleepless nights about money. I actually now have sleepless nights excited about thinking about different ways to continue to build my wealth and help my family have intergenerational transmission of abundance and financial freedom instead of intergenerational transmission of poverty. And I could have never started that process if I didn't get clear on what's keeping me up at night, and then changing myself, my behaviors, my habits, and seeking professionals and experts who were building their wealth and following what they did and learning what I could. So I'm glad you're here, no matter what level you're at, because it's important for you to identify what's keeping you up at night. For most people, you're probably not on food stamps and you have a big portfolio moving into retirement. Maybe what's keeping you up at night is that you're not sure how to strategize that long-term guaranteed income. Maybe it's that you have a family member who's been in long-term care and it's 15 grand a month. It wasn't planned for. And so now that's eating away at the assets. There are so many different things that you could be worried about in retirement. So identify them and let me help you strategize solutions for that. Question number 7, and this one is really about inheritances and family needs. Who will you need to rely on, and who's relying on you? This could be spouses, kids, grandkids, the community. This is going to vary a lot between different people. You really want to be thinking, who's relying on me and who am I relying on moving into those retirement years? I've had clients who have come to me and said, my family has promised to take care of me for the rest of my life because I really cared for them through their life, and so they want to be my long-term care providers. That's awesome. Make sure that they can physically do it. Make sure they have time to do it. You can still also be covered through long-term care coverage just to help cushion the expenses and make sure that you have enough money to cover the high cost of long-term care needs. It's just really important to think about family dynamics and who's relying on you. If you think about Social Security claiming strategy, you want to think about survivor benefits, and you want to strategize who's going to live longer in my partnership and when should I claim based on the higher survivor benefit when one of us passes. You've got to think about the widower's tax trap. When a married couple is being taxed at a married filing jointly rate and then one passes, now the widower is getting charged at a single taxpayer rate, which completely changes things. You want to think about that. What about RMDs and the age of your family? How is this going to affect your long-term portfolio? And then inheritances that you give. How are the inheritances that you're giving affecting your family and your kids? If you're passing on a large IRA to your kids, let's say you don't need the income and you save it and you pass it on, but then they receive it at an age where they are very high net worth and they're in a high tax bracket, then you're burdening them. Are you planning for that? So are they relying on you? Are you passing on money? How much money do you want to pass on? Are you going to pass it on in a tax efficient way? Do you have good dividend paying whole life insurance policies in place? Are you teaching your family to become their own bank? So these are so many questions that come up when you're thinking about strategizing for retirement and asking yourself, who will I need to rely on and who's relying on me? And what are those numbers? And how can I make it the most beneficial to the people that are in my life that I care about? And the last question, number 8, is who will you rely on to guide you through it all? And of course, this is a friendly plug for you to have a conversation with me. I love to strategize with my clients. I just had a call last week. It was so wonderful to have the guy say to me, I've talked to so many financial advisors and insurance agents and people on the phone, and I really just don't feel a sense of trust with them, and you are winning. Whatever it is that you're doing with me right now makes me feel comfortable and safe. And so we're moving forward. I tend to have several meetings with people before we move forward with anything because this is your hard-earned money. These questions to me are critical. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I didn't take care of my clients well, knowing that they had guaranteed lifetime income, knowing that they have more peace of mind, knowing that I have contractual guarantees for them so that I can sleep. I don't have to worry about market volatility and think, oh my God, my clients might lose all their money and then they're not going to be able to retire financially relaxed. I don't do any of that. I get to create a retirement plan for you that fits your needs and meets your goals and helps you be financially relaxed in retirement. And I love doing that. So if you haven't scheduled with me yet, go to retirementincome.school, and at the top of the page you'll see a link that says book a Q&A call, and we'll have a conversation. It's no obligation. We'll find out more about each other. Some people move forward with me and some don't. That's okay. You have nothing to lose by making the call and letting me guide you through retirement income bliss. And that's a wrap for today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and the podcast if you haven't yet, and click the notification bell so you never miss out. And continue to stick with me here at the Retirement Income School, where I'll help you keep your money safe and make it last so you can enjoy retirement. This content is for educational purposes only and is not financial, legal, or tax advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making decisions about your retirement.